Hello, I'm Silvia Hartmann, and I'm a child sex abuse survivor. I'm also the creator of Modern Energy and the president of the Guild of Energists. I am nearly 60, and I've spent my entire life trying to figure out what's wrong with people. I've been blessed in many ways to have, I'm going to say it, walked the path that I have walked. And sometimes I've run and sometimes I've crawled. And sometimes I've given up and just lay on the carpet and cried, basically. But then that's the way of the world. It's the way of being human. Now, one thing is abundantly clear, and that is that without factoring in the energy system, there is no way we can ever help people who have suffered significantly, shall we say. Look, it's blatantly obvious. You can look at my physical body and you will find no scars, no traces. There's nothing wrong with me. And yet, injuries were done. But what were those injuries? Were they injuries to the physical body? Some people have suffered significant injuries in their physical bodies. This is true. And some people have repercussions from these physical injuries to this very day in various shapes or forms. But that's not the real problem. A lot of people sustain significant physical injuries and they recover from that. They get better. The body heals. The injuries that are created during child abuse, on the other hand, they're not in the mind and they're not in the body. They're in the spirit, or if you want to call it that, they are in the energy body. The energy body is real, and it can be damaged in a profound way. And when the energy body is damaged, there are all manner of repercussions for mind, body, and spirit. The most important thing is that it causes tremendous energy body stress. And if that energy body stress isn't addressed, if there isn't some kind of healing offered to the energy body, or the energy body isn't being treated right, or it isn't being encouraged to heal, or isn't being fed with the right nutrition that will allow it to start to restore itself, then these significant injuries become worse and worse over time as these sensitive systems have to route around all manner of blockages and reversals and broken channels. And this causes all sorts of side effects. From the modern energy chart, we can see that high chronic energy body stress, and this really is what child abuse causes. It causes chronic energy body stress. With that chronic energy body stress come completely predictable results. You're going to have, above all else, and this is the most obvious and the clearest of all the signs, above all else, you're going to have this massive disturbance in emotions, meaning that a person isn't in control of their emotions, they are being overwhelmed by emotions, they cannot react like, oh yeah, it just flows off me like water off a duck's back. This is not an option for a person under high chronic energy body stress. They are at the mercy of extreme fluctuations in their energy system. And this is massively exacerbated in puberty, and it comes back also in menopause. And men also have some kind of hormonal shift as well, so it's not just women who have these side effects. Now, with the chronic stress come the usual chronic stress problems, which is that you can't trust your mind, because under chronic stress your mind kind of fractures and your thoughts go out of control and you don't know what the hell's going on in your head. And if stress is bad enough, then you start to hallucinate and you start to hear voices. And all of that is perfectly normal, and that happens to any person if they're stressed long and hard enough. Now, the child abuse survivors are going into this with a chronic stress level that is way worse than your average population. So where you might have to take a spy and torture him for 3 or 4 days before they break and become fragile and vulnerable, the child abuse survivors, they start there, where the spy ends up after the torture has taken place. And so life is, really a continuous struggle. And one of the main things with this not trusting your mind, because you're hallucinating, you're hearing voices, you're going crazy, you're thinking all these crazy thoughts, paranoia, you name it, comes as a direct result of chronic stress. Then you lose trust in your mind, and that causes even more stress. Then also you sort of lose trust in your body as well, because chronic stress interferes with the smooth flowing of physical functioning, whatever that may be, whether you're wanting to learn to dance or whether you are wanting to walk across a road safely and not fall over and not make some weird mistake somewhere along the line. So it's also much more likely that people who are chronically stressed have a lot more accidents and incidents, and they make a lot more mistakes of one kind or the other. This just comes with the territory. It's completely normal. But what that does is just adds more and more and more chronic stress to an already very, very difficult situation. Now, I had a truly formative moment with a client that I had a long time ago. That was a young man who had been found in a warehouse after a police raid, and they had no idea where this child had come from. He was about 5 or 6 years old at the time. They didn't know, and he didn't know his birthday. He didn't know his own name, only various names that people had given him. And so they took the boy into care and gave him a random birthday, the 1st of April, and they gave him a name. And he was a very pretty child, so he was adopted a little while later by a well-to-do upper middle class family who always wanted a lovely little boy. And all went fairly well until he hit puberty, sort of around the age of 11. And then he became completely unmanageable. And the lovely people actually gave him back. They said, we can't cope with this. This is not what we wanted. And they gave him back. And, so then in the foster home, he was abused again. And he ran away, became a prostitute, heroin addict, and a criminal. And spent the next 15, 20 years in and out of institutions. Well, in and out of prison, to be fair. And so here's this man, and he says, can you do something for me? Can you make me normal? That's the words he used. And I said, no, good God, no chance. And he laughed at that, and I said, well, that's good to hear. Well, at least you're honest. I don't think I could ever be normal either. And let's just step aside here for a moment. Normal. What is normal? After you've been through a personalization of that nature, a life experience of that nature that has shaped and formed not his physical body, but his energy body into this, chaotic mess, really, if you think about it. There's no hope in hell to become a normal, ordinary citizen after that. Absolutely not. But I had this moment of perfect clarity. This absolute moment of perfect clarity. Because there was just no way. I mean, think about this man's life. Where the hell would you start with digging in the old trauma roots like the Freudians would have us do? And saying to him, like, until you've revisited every one of your childhood traumas, every single one, and all the other traumas after the childhood, every single trauma, only after that has happened has you any chance of happiness or being normal or living a normal life. I mean, that very idea is horrendous. It's ridiculous. How many traumas does this one person have? Good God. And it was sort of with utter clarity that digging in his traumas would not help him at all to be, who he could be or who he wants to be or make his life better in any shape or form, So yeah. So that's when I had my moment of total clarity, and I looked at him and I said, you need to have good experiences in your life. You have the capacity, I know this because I have this capacity too, of having also extremely powerfully good experiences, amazing experiences. If you were to make it your goal to stuff as many positive, super positive experiences into your day and night and life as you possibly can, there has got to come a point where the whole thing switches because you've had more good experiences in this life than you had bad ones. And when I said that, I really knew that I was speaking the truth. And he went, oh wow, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Are you giving me hope here? Is there hope? Oh yes, there is hope. Of course there's hope. That's it. The past has been and gone. There's nothing we can do about it. Digging in it is not going to make us feel any better. I know this. Oh, I know this. But if we keep adding positive experiences, if we focus on the future and positive experiences, and we're talking about things like having a moment with the sunset and just stopping and allowing that to happen, to let the grace of the creative order just sweep you away. That's what I'm talking about here when I talk about high positive experiences. Or having this moment when you see a single raindrop on a blade of grass and you just melt. These are high positive experiences. These are beautiful experiences. And they are available to us, to all of us. We just need to know how important it is to make time for them, to make space for them, and to give them attention. Now with my gentleman client, I said to him, okay, I know that there are special qualities about you that are extraordinary, because I have them too. I can do things that normal people can't do. Simple as that. I can, because I have travelled so far up and so far down and so far wide and struggled with my own mind, with our own emotions for so long. I have a lot of practice in many things. So I know that you also have special qualities, things that you can do that other people can't. What is good about you? Tell me. And he said, well, I guess I'm very creative. I said, right. And so on that particular occasion, I taught him how to do energy tapping, and we tapped on creative. I'm creative. I'm amazingly creative. And of course, his energy was rising. He was laughing. He was excited, he was feeling proud of himself, he was happy, and that's really so simple, isn't it? From being this person that is all disgusted and broken and disgusting and wrong and all of that, instead we have this radiant, creative potential, this amazing person. And this amazing person having an experience of being an amazing person. It was absolutely marvelous. We did a lot of other things, intelligent, logical, loving. And he just walked out of my office on that day a changed man. That's the word, yeah. And that's the word he used when he described what this one session had really done for him. So there's the two messages that I wanted to make absolutely clear. And that is that for abuse survivors, sex abuse survivors, but also children who were beaten or mistreated or neglected or abused in all sorts of other ways, the way forward is to work with the energy system. And the good news is that the energy system doesn't want to lie on Mr. Freud's couch. The energy system wants to be stimulated, it wants to be excited, literally excited. It wants to grow, it wants to unfold, it wants to evolve. So nature has our back 100% when we are encouraging better energy flow in the energy system in all the various ways and in any which way we can do that. So this is my message for the abuse survivors who are now grown. There is hope. It doesn't matter how long ago it was and how severe your symptoms were. Start today with that forward momentum of feeding your energy body, treating your energy body, healing your energy body, working with your energy body. That is the best way forward to reducing whatever your symptoms are, to finding a better balance in your life, to finding more control over yourself and finding more fun and more hope for the future. But then also I would like to say to the people who are afraid of taking child abuse survivors as clients, when you work as an energist, I can't talk about psychology. I'm not a psychologist, I'm an energist. When you work with modern energy, you do not have to go and dig in the traumas of the past. Instead, you're working with the client in the here and now to help them become stronger, to help them feel better, to find the solutions for their energy problems, basically. And these clients are amazing. They are responsive, reactive. They really know their emotions. They really understand what we are talking about when we're talking about energy and emotions. They're clever and creative. They are survivors. Let us remember that. So don't be afraid of working with people like that and energy. It's nothing like that psychology thing that we don't do as modern energists. So for everyone concerned, there is hope. There is hope for the abuse survivors themselves. There's the hope for the people who want to treat them with modern energy. There is the hope for the relatives and the families and the lovers and partners of people who have had their energy system messed with in this most profound way. There's hope for all of us, and to learn something from these people like myself, and to find methods that actually work with us. And you know what? If a method works with us and we can do it and we can get better, then everyone else can as well. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And whoever you are and wherever you've been, it matters not. We are here, we are now, and we can go into the future if we look for the beauty, if we look for the positive experiences, if we understand that it is our job in this incarnation to find love, as much love as possible, to collect as much love as possible. Thank you for your time, and be blessed.